Hey gang, Ronan here. As you can see in this game I am playing the Tier 9 newly released premium German destroyer ZF-6. ZF-6 is an interesting ship. I have to say that I've really enjoyed playing it. I have had great difficulty securing wins. A lot of my games have been, well, like the one you're going to watch, and I won't give much more away than that. I'll just, if we just take a look at the World of Warships wiki, it says the pros are decent guns with excellent, perhaps too excellent ballistics. They are very good. Excellent HE penetration. Improved AP penetration angles, same as the USN cruisers. Fast, hard-hitting torpedoes. Decent AA for a Tier 9 destroyer. Useful consumables, you can see there along the bottom. Smoke, speed boost, reload booster, and defensive fire to help with your AA. Very good concealment, 5.8 kilometers with the ship properly spec'd. Your commander properly spec. As far as cons, low health pool for a Tier 9 destroyer, and low DPM and fires, even if you're using the reload booster. Now you can put out some damage, but fire chance isn't very good, and the HE damage is pretty anemic. So there's that. Torpedo range is only 8 kilometers. Disappointing. And the ship is not very fast, which is, it's odd. I mean, this is a ship that is based on a French destroyer that the Germans refitted. So the fact that it only has a max speed of around, 35? I'm not sure I understand that, but it's wargaming, and wargaming balance is, well, let's just say not always dead on the mark. Okay, so to the game. Now you can see that the HE doesn't do a whole heck of a lot, unfortunately. If you use the reload booster, you can see I'm going to back out of the way of these torpedoes. If you use the reload booster, you're going to put a lot of shells out. But the maximum HE shell damage is only 1,450. Now, if you're using the AP and you've got a target that isn't angling properly, hey, what'd you think of that drop from the Gudenluen? Is that what that's called? The new Tier 10, a new Tier 10 Dutch cruiser that's being tested. Most people have seen Flamo's video of one of those cruisers dropping, well, all 3 of its airstrikes on an Alaska and essentially wrecking the Alaska. Tried to get me, and will try to get me again, but yeah, I'm not too sure I like the idea of being able to use all 3 of those airstrikes at the same time. I think it probably needs a cooldown, but that's another story. See, I'm switching to the AP. The armor on these Dutch cruisers is pretty decent, so you can see 2 non-pens there, more non-pens and a ricochet. So my initial impression of the new Dutch Tier 10 is, what were they thinking? You can see another airstrike coming in, and I'm able to move out of the way. So I have managed to secure the Bravo cap. Now, if this were a ship that had longer range torpedoes, well, I could probably put them to much better use, but as you can see on the minimap, the torpedo range is only 8 kilometers. Yeah, that's not too hot, and the reload isn't great. I mean, it's not horrible, but for 8 kilometers range and kind of how often you're able to put them to good use, 90 seconds seems like a while. I'm going to try to get the torpedoes to work for me here. The detection radius is good. I mean, you can see I've spec'd my commander. It's 5.8 kilometers detection radius. But in a lot of games, most games, you have CVs, and in addition to that, radar. Usually quite a bit of it. North Carolina looked like he was going to move out of the way, and then he turned back, so... Oof. Land a couple on the North Carolina there. Now the ship does have smoke, which is kind of nice, but it's German smoke, which limits how nice it is. And what do I mean by that? Well, the duration on the smoke is not good. Get detected by the Holland just as the smoke comes back up. Now, I do have the reload booster up. Primarily I was concerned about getting shot by the North Carolina, the Montana, and the Golden Blue there. So really, really hoping Holland will make himself visible, and now that he is, I can do some real work here. See, I've hit the reload booster, but he's angled in. And regardless of the better penetrations, an angled opponent, even a destroyer, well, you can see the AP has limited effectiveness. He does show me broadside, which broadside opponents at that kind of range, even destroyers, you're going to do a lot of damage when you're using that reload booster. So that's that's 2 ships sunk, and that's all that this team has done so far. Meanwhile, we've lost the De Grosse in Holland. Some nice blind fire there from the bad guys. And I'm a little bit less than half of my original HP. Now, our guys at Alpha, they have managed to secure the cap, but keep an eye on our Kremlin and keep an eye on his position. He can't shoot anything, and unfortunately, he spends the majority of the game unable to shoot anything. He's doing great if the game is all about never taking any damage. So you can see that the enemy Holland wants to know what this DD is, and I tell him. And there's a there's a perception, because I have pretty good game here. I've had a number of pretty good games, despite the fact that I've been on teams so laden with potatoes that I can't secure many wins. But, which is not to say that I'm, any kind of super unicum, because I'm not. But, holy cow, some of the teams I've been on. You'll see. So you can see his comment there. Well, another OPDD is just what we need. And I'm thinking, this thing's not OP, at least not to me. It's difficult to play effectively. It's difficult to have a really strong game in my opinion. Well, I managed to land half of them. So Montana eats half of my torpedoes. That's not quite enough. And you can see the Dutch cruiser is beginning to move back this way. Arkansas, bless him, is really trying. But, yeah, here comes the... Yeah. Yeah, that airstrike, that's something. Now I'm really hoping I might land some torpedoes here, but Have to hand it to the player of this Golden Lu. It's or Guden Lu, excuse me. Does a pretty good job of wiggling back and forth, making it difficult to land torpedoes. And with that cruiser, North Carolina, and Lepanto all able to put shells on me if I make myself visible, I think I'm just going to sit tight and hope I land a torpedo or two here. Again, keep an eye on the Kremlin. He can't shoot anything. He can't take any damage, but he can't, there's nothing he can shoot. He's got islands between him and all the bad guys. I think he might have maneuvered himself where, well, no, I don't think he can see anything at this point. Let's see my comment. I'm trying to be polite. So I'm looking at what's going on here. We're down 5 ships. The bad guys are down 4. We do have a little bit of a points lead on the back of the caps. But in terms of positioning, yeah, our positioning is not good on the north end of the map. But you know, Bravo 7, Bravo 8. Got a Minnesota there. They've got a Jutland up there somewhere, and a Seattle. So, you know, our Balti, he's pushed way back. I'm just looking at the situation right now, and I'm kind of thinking, this really doesn't look all that great. Now, I'd love to get close enough to put torpedoes on these battleships. But with this cruiser sitting right here, that's very tough to do. And our Kremlin is still... yeah. Just trying to avoid getting seen here. Do manage to land one. Now, you may be thinking, why don't you smoke up? Well, if I smoke up, who can see them? I did see some shells from the Kremlin there, but not much in the way of damage. So Jutland is now in the Bravo cap and has flipped it for the bad guys. You can see my comments are becoming a little less polite. Jutland torpedoes our Buffalo, which was our best, perhaps only chance of finishing him anytime in the near future. The Pontos finally moved ahead of the Guden Lu, and our Yamato takes out the Guden Lu. So, hallelujah. And take a look at where our Kremlin's at right now. Yeah. Meanwhile, Minnesota, well, he's doing the same thing on the other end of the map. He can't really shoot anything. Our poor Balti, he's terrified to get spotted. So, you know, what are you going to do? Well, I pick up the Confederate there with a devastating strike on the Lepanto, and that's kill number 3. And that leaves each team with 6 ships, but we are down a cap. So I've got to see what I can do to secure the cap again. Kid goes down. That leaves us 5 ships against 6. Still have a little bit of a points lead, and if I'm able to secure this cap, maybe we can hang on to it. A little over 6 minutes to go, but I've got Seattle pushing in now. So even if I get the cap, it's debatable whether or not I'll be able to survive the encounter, because I don't have the torpedo range to really smack the Seattle around, even if I place the torpedoes perfectly. But he's got enough range on his end. Jutland burns our Yamato down. Kerr first takes out our Baltimore, and suddenly we have 3 ships to their 6. Take a look at our Kremlin. So, It looks like I might be able to secure this cap, but I know Seattle's got to be heading this way. I mean, it would just make perfect sense, right? Why would he not rush me? So now I have to decide, do I run, or do I try to stay close to an island? Because I'm sure the Seattle's pushing. I'm not close enough to back into the island to save myself. Plus I've got North Carolina there who could probably blap me, and Jutland out there. I'm detected now, which tells me Jutland's right here. If I smoke up, well, I'm just going to get radared. Alright. Pick up the high caliber. I think it's time to get the reload booster going. I've got to try and finish this Jutland. You can see what happens when even a destroyer angles against you in this AP. Aim a little higher, managed to get some damage, pick up the Kraken, picked up the cap. And Holland's still complaining about how overpowered this ship is. Trying to back up here to get close enough to the island and then realize, there's just no way. Just not going to work. Because I'm sure he's really close now. I'm looking at the radio location signal, and he's just on the other side of the island. And there's the radar. I know I'm going to get blapped. He's going to shoot right around or right over the island here any second. And we do have a little bit of a points lead, but it can't last. And there's still 3 minutes and 40 seconds. That's just a Hail Mary. My ship is trying like crazy to heal, but nope. Now, maybe I should have kept reversing toward the island. Who knows? It's a bad situation all around. I do land one torpedo on him, but it just wasn't enough. He just tanked it out, which tells you how close he was. I mean, he was just off that island, just off the edge of the island. So had I sat there, I would have died right around now, I guess. Maybe I would have landed more torpedoes and taken them with me, but still. Our Kremlin's been playing Ring Around the Rosie with this JB, and he's going to get him, but didn't really do anything else, unfortunately, and that's just, there's a whole lot of that. Right now, the bad guys have 4 ships. We have 2, even with taking out the JB. Now they've got 2 caps again. They've got a points lead. Well, it's an unfortunate ending to a game I think I played reasonably well. Spotted 6 ships, 2 fires, 3 incapacitations, sank 5 ships, landed 103 shells on target, 2 solo caps, 16 torpedoes landed, and 8 floods, 1 decap, a slew of awards. But, you can't win them all, and I'm okay with that. I've had ships like this before where it just, you can see the Kremlin does finally chase down the John Bart. I've had ships like this for whatever reason. I just struggle to get wins, no matter how well I may be playing. Again, I don't claim to be any kind of super unicum or anything like that. I think I'm a good player, but I know there are players that are much better. But, and I'm sure you've probably experienced it, sometimes you just have a string of games that are very frustrating with a particular ship, and this has been one of those for me. Having said that, I really enjoy playing the ship. It's a lot of fun to play, maybe in part because of the challenge. But if you're able to use the tools effectively, if opportunities present themselves, it's a blast because, you can see, you can turn up some pretty nice results. Unfortunately, this one's not going to end well. But yeah, can't win them all. 43 seconds to go. Kremlin, well, I think he's trying to get guns on the curve first here, but I think there might have been an opportunity against Seattle if he had kept going that direction, but what do I know? What do you think? Look like an interesting destroyer? Is it worth what you have to go through in order to get it? I bought the original, I think it was five of the missions, and then, you know, spent another 2,200 doubloons to finish the last one. Anyway, thank you very much for joining me. Really appreciate it. Please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.